right, welcome back. Of course, we're back with another episode of The Reset. I'm Anthony Bailey.
I'm Rici Bell.
We are having a good time here.
Yes.
What a powerful episode and discussion we had last week.
Tune in. If you missed it, you got to watch it. You have to watch it.
Yeah, just scroll back over on the episodes 1 week there. Mm-hmm. A powerhouse guest in with us.
Yes.
From athletics to what we found out, strong financial ties, strong business skills, innovation, education.
Husband, father, son, brother.
Yeah, and doing it with humility.
Yeah. Lots of humility. Which is not
always something that comes once you arrive at a certain level.
Yes. So we're so happy to welcome back to The Reset Robert Golden.
Welcome back there. Definitely good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Listen, we want to keep the discussion going because last week you began to dive into the story of getting your family on board for your school.
Yes.
The vision that you got for the school.
Yes.
And now we're on, those of us that follow you on social media, see the shovels in the ground.
For sure.
We're looking at barriers and concrete being poured.
Absolutely.
Fill us in on kind of where things are going now with the school.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been under construction with our new site since March of 2025. And the trajectory is for this building to be done by June of 2026 and moving into this building by August of 2026 school year. But really wanted to provide kids with a state-of-the-art facility, something that a lot of children that are growing up in Southwest Fresno and surrounding areas don't get an opportunity to experience. So a lot of thought process went into this building, the way it's shaped, the natural lighting that comes into the building, the color of the building, how the classroom looks. There was a lot of thought process that went into how can we get the most optimum, experiences for kids in a facility like this. So I'm excited to bring this to the city of Fresno and allow kids to have something to call their own. That's for sure.
So when we hear big picture, that Golden Charter Academy is a school that's partnering with the zoo. Initially, your initial thought is, it's kind of fascinating where the idea come from to do that. And what exactly does it mean to partner with a zoo?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. When we first said that we were going to do this school, my whole purpose was developing out an environmental stewardship school where kids can learn about how to care for the environment, how to care for their community, but not only care about it, but actually do something about making their communities better. A lot of our kids that we serve come from Southwest Fresno, which according to census tracts, that's one of the most impoverished, under-resourced areas in the state of California. So these kids are learning about environmental stewardship, and they're going out in their communities, planting trees, planting gardens, doing beautify cleanups and other things as well too. But when we talked about stewardship and conservation, we realized how those went hand in hand. Had a person come into my life and was like, you should introduce this idea to the zoo, and lo and behold, the zoo was looking to do a zoo school for the last 15 years but never knew how to put it together. So they were like, could we be your founding partner?
Yes,
about that timing.
The connection,
that timing, the idea and the timing.
Absolutely. So now we get to provide kids with hands-on learning experiences on Fresno Chaffee Zoo grounds pretty much on a daily basis. So every day we got a grade level on zoo grounds, and we use that place as our classroom.
That's incredible.
It's been pretty cool. Absolutely.
That's incredible. And it's so out of the box. It's so innovative. It's so creative. I'm sure, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure you had to be very careful about who you spoke to about this idea, because not everybody is going to be on board with what you believe should happen. So tell us about that process. Tell everybody your business.
Absolutely. Well, you can't share the vision with everybody because, everybody didn't see the vision the way that you saw it. So I was definitely putting it together, but, when I told people I was going to do it, and I told people that I was going to build a state-of-the-art facility. A lot of people thought I was just talking. And now they see it, and now they're like, oh, how can we get involved?
Where do I apply?
Where do I apply?
You can get involved by going back 2-3 years when you called me crazy.
Exactly. But it's, working with the zoo and doing this, obviously, this is the first school in the nation of its kind, but You know, the big goal is to be able to change the paradigm of education.
That's
and
beautiful.
if we can take this school model to every zoo that wants a zoo school, then ultimately that's the goal, and that's what we're working towards even right now.
Beautiful.
So
that's beautiful.
It's been great to be working on it for sure.
That's beautiful.
You talked a little bit of last week about the power of education and how it hasn't changed over time.
Yep.
In last week's episode, we talked about all these things around school has changed, but the education system itself hasn't.
Yep.
What has that been like? Because you kind of got your own curriculum that you guys have developed.
Yep.
And what types of things are they learning at the zoo?
For sure. You know, well, because we are a public school, you know, our curriculum that we use is Amplify, and it's meets and exceeds California state standards. So we've been able to create these curriculum overlays, which has been really powerful for us, where we can actually take any curriculum and tie it to some type of civic engagement or stewardship component. For instance, you know, kids may be learning about the power of having trees in the community and how they provide shade and make the temperatures a lot cooler, and how they can bring up property value by just having trees in your neighborhood. But then they also learn about how they're superheroes and they provide oxygen and they take out carbon out the air. So they're learning about all of these different things when it comes to trees. And then at the end of that tree unit that they've learned about, they go out into the community and plant trees. And when we talk about planting trees, we got to understand that it involves science, math, and ELA. The kids read about trees. That's in, you know, English language arts. And then when you go out there and you plant a tree and you got to measure how deep that root ball goes into the ground, that's math.
Come on.
But then when you put a tree in the ground and you watch it grow, that's science. So we've really been trying to figure out how can we take the textbook on a board, you know, learning experience and bring it outdoors and let kids really do those hands-on learning experiences and make a difference.
I love that.
Practice,
Shout out to Mr. Carner, because that tree lesson you just went over, we talked about coming out of Lincoln Elementary School, Fresno Unified. That was one of his big things, my 5th grade teacher.
Gotcha.
And in front of Lincoln's cafeteria is a tree that we did during the 5th grade with kind of a similar concept.
Oh, wow.
So when you said that, it just kind of brought back memories.
Absolutely.
It's important. Those things stay with you.
Absolutely.
And now these kids at Charter Academy, at Golden Charter Academy, are going to get a chance to drive by these trees they planted for years.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell their kids about them.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's the School for Environmental Stewardship, and my goal is not to just educate kids, but to make the city of Fresno better. And let these little hands do big things. That's what we always say.
I love that. It's such, again, it's such an out of the box experience. It's such an out of the box paradigm, and you are doing it. You're doing it. But somewhere along the journey, I'm sure there have been barriers, there have been obstacles, there have been fears. Share with us a little bit about some of those fears, some of those barriers, some of those obstacles.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the things I always say, whenever you're doing something great, it comes with hate. So you're not going to be able to just go do something great and
not have
it
opposition
with a walk in the park type of experience, you know. So we've experienced, and I've experienced personally, a lot of pushback, a lot of hate, a lot of doubt. But, you know, one of the things that I understand is that it comes with the territory. But even just being in the NFL, you know, playing in the NFL, when you play good, oh, man, the fans love you. You give up that touchdown or you give up a bad play, oh, they booing you. They on your Twitter, on your Instagram, bashing you. But, you know, I think about,
so the NFL prepared you for
the NFL prepared me, absolutely. Without a doubt, but it's been, you know, an experience that life prepared me for. But even with life preparation, it still kind of catches me by surprise, especially when you're trying to do something positive for kids, for a community,
for a city,
for a city, you know.
How do you overcome those challenges? Because what Rici mentioned is so true. You get a lot of the stuff along the way. Now, how did you get over those? How did you begin to just step over those issues?
I think for me, just knowing the promise and the vision that I've had, and knowing that it's going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
And when you have a vision and when you have a goal, can't nobody detour you from that
That's
goal.
Right. That's
you
right.
know, it's you versus you every day. So I've been tunnel vision. I mean, I've had different elected officials try to dim our light. I've had to step out in front of different trustees and defend what we're trying to do. But again, you know, it's a paradigm shift. It's innovative. It's new. And whenever you're doing something new, it's this is how we always do things. So how are you going to do something different?
Right.
You've never been involved in education. You never worked at a school. How
what do you know?
What do you know? You know,
stick to football.
Stick to football. Exactly. But
that's LeBron shut up and dribble back in that time period. You know?
And that's just always been my mantra. You know, I always wanted to be more than an athlete.
That's right.
If a professional football player can step away from the NFL and start a school and acquire over $30 million to develop a site and get things up and going, that just speaks to the power of the mind that anything is possible when you put your mind to it.
Absolutely. So I am not an athlete.
Yeah.
I was a cheerleader. There's still a debate about are cheerleaders athletes or not. Whatever. We're not going to get into that now. But my point is this. So I've been working out with a trainer for two years now. Shout out Coach LeJean Sherman.
Yeah, that guy's a beast, man.
And
He does
something
some
that
good
he
work.
always tells me is consistency and intensity both matter. So consistency is when you show up. Intensity is how you show up. It sounds like to me you've had to dig deep, not only into the consistent world, but be intense about what you're doing because of the obstacles, because of the fear, because of all the barriers, right? So talk to us about the importance of consistency, but also the importance of intensity. You don't show up to those city council meetings.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's okay. No, you show up knowing that this is going to work,
For
right?
sure.
So talk to us about consistency and intensity.
Yeah, you know, people always look at life and goals and achievements when you can see it on social media and things of that nature. But there was so much consistency and discipline that had to go into any type of achievements. Like I tell people all the time, I played football for 11 years for free before I ever played in my first NFL football game.
Wow,
you know, I went to school for 17 years before I graduated with a college degree. But it was being consistent. And I started developing out Golden Charter Academy 2019, 2020. And we opened the doors in 2021 and we've still been working. But not only is consistency and intensity important, but I think discipline is such a important component as well too. And I describe discipline as doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it every time that you're supposed to do it.
That's
and when
another
you're
t-shirt.
disciplined,
Wait, I'm sorry. Say it one more time. One more time.
Discipline
Catch
is
this at
doing
home.
what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it every time you're supposed to do it. That's just something that I've been prone to not only in my NFL career, but even with the work that I'm doing now, just making sure that I stay not only consistent, but disciplined in my work as well too.
So
Speaking of the city council, take us back.
Yeah.
For those of you that follow you all,
Yeah.
there was a critical inflection point here, I think a few months back, where you guys had like this final hurdle that you posted about. Take us back to standing in front of the council. What was it like to deliver that final, what I call a closing argument? And you can explain to folks at home exactly what it was, but the gist of what I gained from it was, here's our final rung before we can break ground and start construction. We need this last piece of paper
for sure
before we hit go.
You know, it was we got an opportunity to experience bureaucracy. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about being the school for environmental stewardship and teaching our kids about civic action and civic engagement. So I feel like it was all part of the journey and the story to give kids the opportunity to see what that looks like in real time. But, you know, we're looking to develop out this permanent facility, and A councilman just kind of raised some concerns in regards to the safety of the school that was being developed, rightfully so.
Sure.
It being in his district, and he wanted to make sure that things were done appropriately and correct. But the timing of it was just so unfortunate because we were seeking to move inside of this facility in August of 2025. But when our project continuously got appealed by this councilman, it really just put a delay and also gave us a cost increase on our project just due to the delayed and timing and things of that nature and the things that we had to add to the project. But I felt like, me standing in that moment, speaking in front of the city council, the mayor, the city, it was an opportunity to show our scholars what that looks like when we talk about civic action and civic engagement. But then it was also an opportunity for the city to get a better glimpse of what it is that we're doing for kids. And since that city council meeting, I've gotten a lot of new friends, and I can make a phone call in the city of Fresno now.
See how it all works together for your good?
Absolutely. Romans 8:28. But I felt like that moment was a big moment for not only the community, but for myself personally. And,
that's so good.
there was a lot of preparation leading up to that city council meeting because I had to go before the Fresno Unified School District Board multiple times as well too. So presenting in front of those trustees prepared me to present in front of the city council.
That's so good.
Talk to the people at home that are thinking about that because the goals are lofty and the work is hard. But that preparation point, to get you to that point, what was that like for you? What advice can you share with folks at home that have a dream that they want to go after and think they're just going to be able to show up and somebody's just going to say, here you go?
Well, it never works like that, at least not in my lifetime. But
put in the work.
When preparation meets opportunity, that's when you succeed. And I think that, my life has all been preparation, whether it been playing in the NFL, whether it been coming from Southwest Fresno, having $1 and a dream to believe that I'm going to make it to the NFL. All of that has been preparation. And a lot of the times when we experience life circumstances, whether good or bad, I never consider it as a loss. I consider it as a lesson. Like since I've been developing out this school, so many different lessons have been learned that I now see from a different lens, like, okay, that had to happen for this to happen, or that had to happen for me to level up. And when it happens to me, I take it like a grain of salt and say, okay, God, what you trying to teach me in this season? And it's been good. When you're the author or when you're the character in the story, it never feels good. But when you can take your feelings out of it and look at it from the bird's eye view, then you're like, okay, that needed to happen for me to get here. So it's been good.
So talk to us about, consistency, intensity, discipline. Who or what keeps you going?
It's a lot that keeps me going. It's my family. One, I want my kids to see Daddy set this bar because they got to take that bar higher. And that's the goal, for you to set a bar for your kids and let them know you got to raise this bar even higher. So I think
do more than mommy. Please, Kaylin, be better than mommy. Do more than mommy, okay?
I think my kids keeps me going. I think, to be real with you, my haters keeps me going as well too.
Watch
you
this.
said you said I couldn't do this.
Right.
Or you thought because you left me, the show wasn't gonna keep going.
And I'm not even gonna block you. I want you to have a front row at this seat.
Absolutely.
At this show, okay?
I love that.
Absolutely. So I think, between my kids, my haters, my family, a lot of that keeps me going. But I always revert back to when I walked away from the NFL on my own terms. A lot of people said I wrote myself off. So now I get to flex, if you will, that God never writes you off and his plans is bigger than our plans. And if you stay locked in, you'll be able to achieve what you set your minds to do. That's for sure.
You kind of dropped a little bit of a gem right there, because that's something that what you just said I never would have thought about, that people would have wrote you off when you left the NFL and left the guarantee. What they see is the kind of what my financial influencers call the golden handcuffs. So when you left that to go out on your own, what are beyond that? What are other things that as you look back on, were things that you had to overcome? So people writing you off, or anything you had to overcome, what other types of challenges did you have between the NFL and where you are now?
Well, you know, I still navigate through my challenges on a daily basis, but I think for me it's taking off the mindset of what do they think, you know? Because oftentimes you can get caught up and worried about what other people think, and 9 times out of 10, they're not even thinking about you, or they don't even think what you think they think. And I was always, you know, when I was trying to make that transition from the NFL, I'm like, if I leave the NFL, what they gonna think about me, or what my family gonna think, or what these people gonna say. Now that I'm developing the school, I'm like, man, if this happened, what they gonna say? So for me, I had to work on it, and I still continuously work on it, on never mind what they think, or never mind what they gotta say. It's me versus me every single day, and I'm gonna take a step forward to get to the goals that I'm trying to reach. That's for sure.
That's right. That's so good. I remember I was making a major transition in my life, and my therapist, she just asked me to write out what are the top 3 internal barriers, right? And we literally worked for months just crossing each one of those off. And when that final one was crossed off, talk about joy, talk about health, talk about freedom, talk about authenticity. I said, Rici, let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Right?
Absolutely.
So tell just really quickly, like as an African American man, we know what the statistics are, and just in terms of mental health and therapy and stuff like that. But was there perhaps a mental health personnel or mental health therapist or counselor who was also working with you as a part of that support system? You've got the financial advisors, you've got spiritual advisor, pastors. Talk really quickly about the mental health piece of that, because you had to overcome some stuff. You talked about the identity, the depression that you went through when you left the NFL. What's next? Talk about that really quickly.
Well, you know, growing up in our culture as African Americans, counselors, therapists, what's that? Mental health therapy, what? You know, so for me, it was really, I believe that when I made my transition and I was going through my depression, that's when I got the closest to God that I've ever been before in my life. Like, I grew up with that mama and daddy faith, but I really developed my own relationship during that time. But
how did you know? Like, you talk about the depression. How did you identify that within yourself?
Just because I knew I wasn't myself, you know.
We know ourselves.
I know myself.
We're self-aware.
I'm energetic. I'm hopeful, but I'm fighting thoughts in my mind like, man, you was at the NFL. That's the top of the top.
Right.
It don't get no better than that. So if it don't get no better than that, then your life ain't gonna never be as good as it used to be. And those were my thoughts that was overcoming me every day. So I had to learn how to speak those positive affirmations over my life. I had to learn that life and death is in the power of the tongue.
That's
every single day, not only was I in my meditation, but I was also speaking life over myself. And that was a big component for me.
Where did it come from? Where'd you get it from? How did you figure that out? You're looking in the mirror.
Man, I tell you what, I grew up with the faith. I grew up in church, but like I mentioned, when I went through that depression state and when I was trying to figure out who my identity was, I really got close to God on a whole nother level. And I'm talking about morning devotions, praise and worship by myself for hours. And mind you, I'm out of the NFL. My kid, he's in preschool at the time, and my wife knew when it was my time. She like, let me drop the kid off. I'll give you your space. And I have my space. And I was in my space for about a year, just getting close, learning who I was. And that ultimately was the key to getting me out of that funk that I was in, that's for sure. But I do highly encourage seeking mental health support, whether it be speaking with a counselor, a therapist. That is something that I do now. But back then, like you mentioned, growing up in the Black community, we just didn't know.
We didn't
But
know.
thankful that I have my relationship and I was able to figure it out for sure.
So good.
Yeah.
So good, so good. I don't know about you, but I have like a final question.
Yeah, go for it, by all means.
I have a final question.
Yeah,
Well, I have two, but let's see if I can mash them together. Okay. What has been, considering your journey, looking back over your journey, what has been the most rewarding part of your journey? And what's next for Robert Golden? What can we be looking out for?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding part of this journey is seeing that everything that I wrote down in 2020 come to fruition.
Wow.
I still got the letter that I wrote to myself about what I was going to do, and to see it all happening, that's been my Super Bowl, if you will. Never won a Super Bowl, but I can imagine it feels something like this. So that's been the most rewarding feeling for me. And then
I wish I had some confetti to throw at you right now.
I love that.
Your trophy.
I'm just thinking, how powerful would it be to get a chance to hear you read that letter out at the school?
Oh, absolutely.
The school's open and you're walking through those halls.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man, that's powerful. But what's next? You know, like I mentioned, the goal is to change the paradigm of education. We're having fruitful conversations right now with other zoos across the nation, and we got some things that's cooking that's coming very soon. That's for sure.
Stay at the table. It's cooking. It's cooking. And then for you personally, Robert Golden, the man, the husband, the father, the son, the brother. What's next for you personally?
Personally, I'll say, you know, who knows? I think for me, I have a 5-year strategic plan that I'm working towards. But my goal is to give my kids a better education experience than I received. My goal is to give my family the life that I want them to live, full of joy, full of peace, full of happiness, full of freedom. So my 5-year strategic goals is centered around doing just that. And I'm working towards it every day.
All right.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, it's exciting, not only from the neighborhood, but just making these strides. Robert, we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us here.
Thank you guys for having me.
We think that people are going to gain a lot
and glean
a lot
from
these conversations.
Absolutely.
If you do have young kids that are coming through school right now, doesn't matter what neighborhood they're from, pull up this episode, rewind it, pull up last week's episode. There's really some powerful content in there that can just sit with us.
Absolutely.
And of course, that does it for this week.
That's it. Oh my gosh.
At the end of the day, it's a question we've always asked you. We'll continue to ask you.
Are you okay?